This is our annual membership meeting. This is something we're obligated to do through our bylaws and so forth. I think everybody is more excited for, in 2 weeks, our lifetime members celebration. I think we should have a better party. But this is something we have to do as an actual meeting. We're obligated, and I appreciate you all being here. We have a smaller crowd today, which is important because this is some of the most important people at the museum, and I really appreciate you being here today. So let's go ahead and call the meeting to order at 3:04. 3:04. We call the meeting to order. You know, I have a first. Would someone like to? And a second. Meeting is called to order. Thank you very much. Here is the 2022 annual membership meeting for the Hermosa Beach Historical Society and Museum. I'm Greg McNally, president of the museum, and I thank you all for being here. This is a recap, an opportunity for us to share some of the accomplishments of the last year, as well as sharing with you some of our goals and activities for the coming year, as well as a little bit of reports from both financial, our museum director, and tell you about some of the things to look forward to. So there we go. I would like to share with you that museum membership is still at 252 people, which has stayed pretty consistent over the last couple of years. And considering that the fact we've been closed for almost 2 years during COVID, I would find that to be a pretty impressive thing. What we have done is increased our activities and online. So during COVID, when we had Happy Hour with History and did our online activities, we had almost more people joining us online than we had actually coming to the museum. So we had people not only from the South Bay and Hermosa Beach, but people joining us from Jamie, I think Virginia and New York and others around. We had over 100 people logging in to some of those activities, and those are fantastic. They're all online on our YouTube page, so they can go back and take a look at those. We're also super excited to be back in person, like we are here today. But I think the Kevin Saul Punk Rock photograph exhibit was a super success, and I'm really excited about that. As well as the recent Surfers Walk of Fame, both the Surf Riders Awards and movies, but I thought the reception in the patio and the people coming to the museum was just a super success. So that's great. And once again, moving forward, we do have a number of activities coming forward. I just think that we've got great momentum. We're in a strong financial position. We have tremendous activities, and we have others to share those with you at this time. So I think Dan is next. Dan, you want to give us just a brief update on where we stand in the financial situation?
Thank you, Greg. Get my readers on so I can see my little notes. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Inskeep, your volunteer treasurer. Well, I just wanted to say congratulations and thanks to the board, to Jamie, to all the volunteers, because it is unbelievable that we were able to come out of COVID as financially solid as we are. We were able to end 2021 with just a small net loss of $2,600, which is unbelievable. And we've since reversed that. As of today, we're $2,300 in the black. We have $97,000 in cash, which represents about a year and a half of our current budget. So we're doing great. But as your bean counter, I also want to say we need to keep doing great, because with accreditation as our target, our expenses are going to grow. And so with that, we have to find a way to continue to have our revenue grow as well. So with your help, we can continue on this path. And thanks again for all you've done.
Thank you, Dan. And I really want to thank you for all of the work you've done and kept such a fine tune on that. Just as a benchmark, so you guys know, any other 501c3 or community or charitable organization basically keeps about 6 months worth of cash flow in their bank account. If they're 6 months, they're considered to be a healthy organization in a safe position. You just heard that we don't have that. We have almost a year and a half. So we are in the upper echelon as financial institutions as far as a charitable organization. We're in a strong position to have big goals moving forward. So we're going to continue to grow, continue to be safe. One of the other things that I didn't mention on this year, one of our great accomplishments, is that we have folded in the murals project. It is now under the reign of the Hermosa Beach Historical Society Museum, in which we oversee the contracts, the maintenance, and we will see that and take care of it and foster it for the next 100 years now, as long as it goes.
Greg?
Yes.
I guess I should have been clear too, that 97,000 does not include the cash that we inherited from the murals project, which I'm accounting for separately, and I believe we have about $16,000 that we can use toward that endeavor going forward. And also, what I wanted to mention, I try to keep my reports short, but I have a lot of detail. So if you want to see detail, contact me and I will lather you in detail.
Thank you. Ricardo, would you like to give us a moment and share with us our next celebration?
Brought it on music.
So how many years do you think we've been a society? Anybody want to guess?
35.
On the dot.
Told me that last week.
And the city, how long has the city been a city? 115, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, those aren't exactly, on the 25 or the 50, but the development committee said, you know what, let's look back and see who was with us at the beginning, how did we get started, let's talk about our history a little bit and of the society itself and what we've done with the city during that period of time. So, it turns out that let's see here, let me get the date for you. Okay, in March of 1987, Buddy C. Wright and Rick Lerner were the two people initially that, wow, we should be doing something. We should get a historical group together or whatever. So they got me and a few other people to talk about how would we get started. So we ended up having what was called a kickoff at the foot of Longfellow. So you all know where that is on the Strand.
Strokey's house.
Okay. Huh?
Strokey's house.
Yeah, it's still there. And so that's the Strokey house, and they were, Bible was one of our early founders and board members. So that's how we got the kickoff, and we didn't just say, okay, how are we going to do this, over the next number of years, but we said, oh, wow, this is the city's 80th birthday, and nobody's ever been honoring the city at 50 or 60 or 70 or whatever. Why don't we just start off and have a giant party? So we ended up having the 80th anniversary, celebrating Hermosa Beach. It was a weekend all over the city. All kinds of different groups participated. A wonderful experience for everybody. A lot of you were part of that. Rick is smiling over there, so he was part of it. John, many of you who are here now were part of that.
There's the
And there's the shirt. One of the interesting things we did was that, and Carol was in charge of a lot of this part, and we decided to go back and get the old Hermosa reviews, and so we put together this kind of several different pages from our history. And so anyway, so that brings us up to
Yes, that's what about the parade, John?
and the parade,
I know it's all in this march.
including the elephant with the guy throwing condoms from the elephant.
Is that Bergie?
What?
Is that Bergie?
The tender track, that's the ones. She promised not to do that.
So we had a little room upstairs as a museum initially, but then 4 years later, we have opened up. Here we go. So much depends on a scissors, a party hat, a party candle, and then we'll cut the ribbon, and we opened up that small area over there. And then we, gathered stuff to the point where it was like Grandma's attic, and we decided, okay, let's see if we can expand. And then that's where Rick got really into it with us to end up expanding into this space in order to be ready for the centennial of the city in 2007.
And we cut the ribbon on.
So,
We cut the ribbon 100 years to the minute.
to the minute.
January 14th at 12:14 in the afternoon is when we cut the ribbon. 100 years to the minute.
So what that boils down to is, we said, wouldn't it be great if we can honor now the founding members for that period of time, as well as the life members who started giving us some money so we could do many of these things early on, and honor them with a special celebration, which is going to be at the end of June. So I wanted to tell you all about that. So I hope that you will all attend and be part of that, and there'll be a lot of information coming out about it. And any of you would like to help us with that celebration, please let me know. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo. I really appreciate that. It's really cool to know more about the Historical Society. I appreciate it. Mark, do you have a moment for us, please? This is our events committee.
I'm Mark Shoemaker. I'm the chair of the events committee, which is now expanded into the events and education committee. And going back to 2005, I'm speaking here on a microphone today, and lights are on because of man here, JR, who was involved with the museum expansion, along with Rick Koenig, who led the effort. And back then, our goal was always to have a community space that we can have a lot of events at, which we've been doing. And those events have led to memberships kind of trickling in as outsiders come into some of these specialty events. We get more and more people coming in. But now we've expanded, and we're going to start doing more educational events because we really feel that we need more people in here that don't have gray hair. And so we're going to try and engage school children with educational events at the different grade school levels, and try and bring more of those types of younger people in to get them involved in the culture and history of Hermosa Beach, and expand our membership that way. Because we are kind of at this status quo level, about 250. We need to bump that up, and we're going to have to do that by bringing in younger members. So that's our goal for the next year or so, is to engage the schools locally more and get more kids in here and get them to become members for life as well.
Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate that. Jamie, want to give us a bit of an update on some of the exciting things happening?
Hi guys, my name is Jamie Erickson. I'm your museum staff person here. I have a couple things I wanted to mention today. Number one, our accreditation. So last year when we all got together, you guys probably, I don't know, maybe you took a pledge. I don't know how many beers you had, so I don't know if you knew you were taking a pledge, but you took a pledge to help us embark on our journey for accreditation with the American Alliance of Museums. So that was step number one. As of today, we have completed step number two, which is submitting our policy and procedure as well as our collections management policy. So right now, as we're gathered here today, they are reviewing our documents and they're going to come back to us with feedback so that this year we can hopefully proceed with step three, which is finishing the accreditation by submitting our application. So we're really excited about that project, and we're so thankful to you guys for supporting us through that. Second thing, collections management. We've had our usual trickle in of little donations, artwork, pins, things of that nature. But one of the biggest highlights that I'm super excited about, I'm holding something here in my hot little hand, because I thought it might actually look familiar to some of you folks. You've either seen one of these and your parents added, maybe you had one, maybe you were there when it was invented, I have no idea. But we recently had a huge donation, actually thanks to Dan Insky. Dan gave me a call one day and said, hey, I know this guy that lives down the street from me, and I think he's a skateboard collector. I think he's got some cool stuff. I thought, okay. The pandemic happened, a lot happened, and unfortunately this friend of Dan's ended up passing away. His brother later reached out to us, and we found out that collection was way more than we ever expected. So after the dust settled, we've ended up with 153 vintage skateboards and skateboard decks, ranging, yeah, it's really exciting. So ranging from, a little bit before this guy with the, the steel wheels, I'm sure some of you remember, screwing roller skate wheels to your, a 2x4. I'm sure all of you guys made one in wood shop at some point. So starting from this point up till the 90s. It is all South Bay based boards. Some of them are the original prototype models, and a lot of them have been signed by people that are no longer with us. What's really cool to me is that we were able to honor Vinny Tattoo's wish, which was for these boards to end up in a museum where they could be enjoyed by everyone. There are a lot of skateboard collections in the world, but not a lot that are in public hands. Most of them are owned by private collectors. So we're very grateful. I want to say a huge thank you to Tim Tattoo, Vinny's brother, who's not here today, for following through with his brother's wish and donating these skateboards to our collection. So I'm a little biased. I kind of like skateboarding. I think it should have been the California, official state sport. Not that surfing isn't great, but we have some really exciting projects planned coming up with these skateboards so that they can be enjoyed by everybody in the community, as well as all of our visitors that come visit us from around the world.
Thank you, Jamie. We're really excited about that. And for those of you who haven't seen the collection, it's huge and it is super impressive and it's very exciting. So as you can see that, in 2019, the museum really I feel as though we really kind of hit stride and we were really on a move forward. And in March of 2020, when COVID hit, we really went into kind of a duck and tuck mode and trying to be very careful and fiduciary and responsible. And we really came out of it in a strong way. But as Jamie just told you, we are in a situation now where we're ready to completely accelerate our activities, our growth, our membership, and we'll start with that in the 27th of June, which will be our gala. Our original thought was we would have a Mardi Gras gala in February, and as we saw, the Omicron variants came in January and really put everything back again. But we were prepared. We've been through this before. We knew what to do. We just simply put it out a little bit. I want to thank Jay Courtney, who's not here right now. He's hopefully on a safe flight home from Chicago. But he has put together a fantastic committee to help us plan for the gala. They've also reached out to a number of different community organizations and getting a number of different people involved, and I'm super excited. I think this is going to be a fantastic event. Since we're not in February and there's no Mardi Gras in sight, it's going to be more of a beach-oriented theme party. So it's going to be a casual, fun beach party, which I think we're all going to be just fine with. We're going to have food from Slay's Beach Cafe. If you don't know what that is, that's because nobody is. It's not open yet. But David Slay from the Slay's Restaurants in Manhattan Beach has just opened his new restaurant at the Delta International Terminal. Is opening a restaurant here in Hermosa Beach. It's in the old Gringo location on Greenwich, and we will be one of the first organizations that they will be providing their food. So we're super excited about that opportunity and welcoming a new business into our community. Pardon? As well, we want to, the gala, we also want to make sure that we know that we are doing things looking forward into the future, not just this year, next year, but in the grand future. We're now kind of set the process in motion about really giving a rejuvenation to our beach culture room. We started to look at ideas and get bids for things that we could do that would really elevate that. Is there anyone that wants to say a quick word of the vision? Peter? That'd be great. Can you tell us just a little bit of the conversation? Thank you.
No, we're at that preliminary stage, the planning stage, but it makes sense given that we have this incredible collection now of skateboards, which is a beach sport. We've got the surfboard collection to begin with, so we've got that covered. We've got the Volleyball Hall of Fame in there. We've got that, and we actually kind of have a little bit of the lifeguarding. So we really got kind of the four indigenous, if you will, beach sports. And it seems to us that it makes sense to look at that room more holistically, kind of start from scratch in there. Instead, we've kind of incrementally over time added, and it's come together. But I think we look at it now and the opportunity where Rick is looking at me like, well, wait a second. But we've got an opportunity, I think, to move that ahead. We're looking for a kind of an ambitious request for proposals of how we might do that. We're going to sort of turn to some of our friends and so forth in the construction community and the contractors and designers, but we're just at that beginning stage, and what you can all look forward to, and Dr. Ricardo probably mentioned this, you can look forward to the beginning of a development campaign to fund the Beach Culture Room, and I think it's something that will really bring this to the next level, as Greg is saying, and what Jamie is trying to accomplish. So that's what's on the horizon with the development committee.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I have to say, when this was brought to me as an opportunity, I kind of gave it some good look and then visited the Surfers Heritage and Cultural Museum down in San Clemente, and I was totally inspired. It was just a fantastic way that they displayed things, the depth of their program and what they shared made this a really important part. So as you can see, with the gala coming up, with our accreditation, with the Beach Cultural, with our activities, the museum is in a fantastic place moving forward, and we're super excited for this coming year and next year. So with that being said, that's our agenda for the meeting. A little off script. Are there any questions? Are there any things that you guys would like to share? Can I open this up just for an opportunity for the community to give us thoughts or feedback or anything? We're just doing a good job. Yes, Desi?
Yes, thank you. What a great meeting, and especially Ricardo for the terrific history. Some of it I know about, but not all of it. I just want to encourage folks in the room here to not be intimidated about volunteering for the 2 hours of docity from Wednesdays through Sundays. And I think what's going on is there's that fear that you maybe aren't in a position to answer all the questions. That's not required. It's just making sure our doors are open so that people can experience the place, and that so we can also meet the needs of the accreditation process, that we are open at least 5 days a week, 2 hours a day. And here's the great part about sitting here in docity. There isn't a day that's gone by when there's a visitor that comes in who's been here all of their lives, or their third generation here, and they tell us these stories. And I mean, we've sat there, Moira and me, and had these conversations for like 45 minutes as all this great information comes in. It's, for anybody who's interested in our town and loves this town, it's just thrilling to hear some of these stories. And they are so grateful for the museum, even though I said maybe they've been here for a long time. In fact, they've never been here. So that's important. Please consider it. You don't need to have any real skills. Jamie has the book here that tells you how to open the place up. It's really simple. And of course, you can always call her or me or somebody and help you through it. So please consider it. You're not going to regret it. It's going to be a highlight of your day.
Well, let me take a moment and just celebrate Dempsey's leadership and enthusiasm as far as the docents go. So that you know, last year during the Fiesta Hermosa, it was a scaled down Fiesta Hermosa. It was very small, back in the parking lot A or whatever that is, with the arts up here. And we had such a fantastic outcome of people coming to the museum. It was 2 of our best days ever. And we were not scheduled to open on Sunday. Dempsey came down, drug out the sign, opened the door, invited people in, and if I'm not mistaken, we had about 250 people come through the door that day. It was the best
I can tell you exactly.
ever.
Moira and I showed up for our usual 2 to 4, and there were people like waiting to come in at the door. And on that first day, we had 85 visitors, I think. I said, okay, shoot, we're missing an opportunity because the drop-off started at 10 o'clock in the morning for the arts fair. And I ask everybody who comes through the door every time we're here, is this your first time here? Yes or no? How did you find out about us? And most people say because they see the sign out in front. So I said, okay, we better be here earlier tomorrow. So we opened up on Sunday at noon, I think. We had 133 visitors on that day. And then on Labor Day, which ordinarily we'd never be open because of Fiesta, we had 185 visitors. Wow. And I'd say 99% of it, how'd you find out about us? Walked by, saw the sign. Yeah. So I was saying to our board members, if they know we are here, they will come. So we just had to make sure that folks know we're here and that there's somebody here to open up the doors.
And those little things do help because we did see a surge in participation through the museum for that time after. Just so you know as well, this year's Fiesta, the children's area or the games and rides would be in this parking lot. So we've already spoken to Connecticut about getting the ice cream truck up here. We're already looking at doing some coffee stands or some other activity. It is going to be a bonus time for us, and we're super excited for this opportunity as well. So thank you. Those little things bring out things. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm a board member of the California Supreme Court Historical Society, and I occasionally do, I haven't, pre-pandemic, I would do legal history walking tours in downtown Los Angeles, but I just wanted to give a shout out for connecting this organization, which is fantastic, with the larger historical community in Southern California, and get people to think about strategizing about how we can, it's a two-way street, that we can both become aware of the larger immediate universe around us and to have those folks become aware of us. I think right now we're sort of, we've got this incredible resource and great energy and we're below the radar. So just a couple things that people, and if anybody ever wants to get together and strategize about how we do this, in the fall, I don't know if it's going to happen, it was been canceled in the past. USC and the Huntington have teamed up to have something called the Institute on California and the West. And they have an incredibly robust web presence called LA as Subject, which is all about people who care about LA and its history. They have an LA Historical Archives Bazaar at USC in the fall, usually in October at the Doheny Library, which is unbelievable. It's fun to go to because there's all these groups that have exhibits and things. They have lectures at the same time. There's just great positive energy. And then the last thing is there is I don't know if you ever watched like on KUSC, the Nathan Masters program about LA history. There's this whole underground of people who care about the region, and they're incredibly talented from all kinds of, they even do just like we do our happy hours in history, they have something from the entire region where people care about Southern California history and get together in a very informal setting. So just as a medium to long range plan, I would encourage us to look beyond Hermosa Beach's borders, but not too far, not to like we're looking nationally with our accreditation, but just to the Southern California region, to cooperate with fellow historical societies in the South Bay, the academic institutions like Cal State Dominguez Hills and Cal State Northridge, which have incredible historical archives, just to see if there's ways that we can become aware. And one of the things I even talked about with Jamie is UC Riverside has a program to try to digitize historical newspapers. And I know we're talking about trying to do that here, but maybe we can reach out and so we don't think that it's all on ourselves, that there's other people that would be interested in accessing our historic Hermosa Beach newspaper.
That's fantastic information. I appreciate it. And on the short term, we're going to be getting together very soon because I tell you, when I visit other museums, speak to other board members, speak to other volunteers and or staff members, I'm fully inspired, and it's opening up my world to things we can be doing. That is fantastic. I believe our accreditation will allow us to make so much of this great information available to so many more people. So we're in that direction. I appreciate those comments. That's great. Yes?
Hi there. My name is Elko Warner, and I recently wrote an article for the Easy Reader, the front page article about Marshas, and she wanted to designate her home a historic site in Hermosa Beach. It would be the first one, and she had some issues when she went to City Hall because there was no mention of the $4,500 fee to designate a Mills property, the Mills Act property. And after doing some research, I found out that Redondo Beach doesn't charge their residents, and they have something like 106 historic homes and historic districts. And Manhattan Beach, the first home they didn't charge, but now they're charging, I think, $7,000. I'm wondering if there's something the Historical Society can do to help Marcia. I know that all the neighbors around her on Monterey and down all the way to the Green Store, signed a petition, and they submitted it to several city council members. But maybe there's something the Historical Society can do to kind of put a little bit of pressure on the city, or get them to rethink the fee.
I really appreciate that. I know that we did meet here a while back and didn't have a solution for that, and it seemed a little bit outside our range, but I did see your article and I appreciate that. I think that's an important historical piece of Hermosa Beach. And offline, I think we should meet again, and maybe we can sponsor a GoFundMe page or find some other solution to help out, because I do find that as an elevated urgency at this point. So thanks for bringing that up. Yes, Nancy.
If I can just add to it, Greg, Moira and I are neighbors of Marshas, and so we've been aware of this project for a while. And I can tell you that at the most recent city council meeting, Mayor DeToy raised that we should agendize looking into how they could perhaps fund or reduce some of the costs. So they got enough votes to put it on the agenda, so they are going to address it. Failing that, and I just spoke to Marshas actually on the way here, past her house, and saying, don't toss in the towel on this. It's going to happen one way or the other. If the city doesn't come to a way to make it more affordable, we're going to do for this project some kind of a GoFundMe, and it'll happen. But here's what Marshas said. She goes, well, I want this to be affordable for others should they want to do it. And just to make it really clear, a few years ago, there was a list that was suggested of homes that should fall under historical designation. There was a very negative reaction from the community because they felt that was going to mandate that their homes, if they sold them, could not be developed. I think people back me up on this. That was really not the case of that list. And Pete, your ears must have been burning in the last few weeks because I often talk about your home, which is, you say, it's beautiful, it is a vintage, it's certainly one deserving of historical demarcation. And you say, as long as you live there, Pete, you too, Rick, but Pete always says, when this stuff comes up, he says, as long as I'm alive, this house is staying like this. But of course, I want my children to do what they want with it for whatever financial benefit or whatever. And that was the case of that list. It was not going to be anything that restricted anyone from their individual property rights to do as they wanted. But it was just an opportunity to make aware of some of these houses that had some historical significance. And perhaps some of that research could already have been done and in place, because a large part of this fee is the research to see if the house was worthy of that demarcation. So again, this process, because of the article and because of Marshas, is on its way right now. And we're hoping that the council will respond and provide some opportunity for others to be aware. So what I've said, folks will say, well, then all of us taxpayers are going to be responsible then for, subsidizing these costs. I don't think there's going to be that many. Most people are going to be in the situation that Pete is in, who have children or someone that we want to make sure that it's protected and for them to do what they want and develop it should they want to. There's just a few that will say, I want this property to be protected.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, and I believe that being on the agenda is the first step forward. And for those who don't want to participate or follow through with that, that's fantastic. And then each one of them can be done on their own. Yes?
Can I just say that this is a perfect example of why it's important for us to be aware of the larger universe, not just asking Manhattan Beach or Redondo Beach, but there's the California Preservation Foundation, there's a whole group of people. It's not the first time somebody has dealt with this. So when I saw the article, I thought, well, I'm just going to contact people I know and say, okay, what have we already done? Why should we always try to recreate like we're starting from scratch. So I just think it's really important to build upon what people in like LA, there's a huge have already done.
We're not reinventing it, it's all been done. I appreciate that. I love this dialogue, and I thank you. I'm learning more about my city as we go. Rick, real quickly.
Real quickly, I just want to chime in on that, because a little over 20 years ago, myself and 9 other people worked on a threefold historic preservation that we presented to the council. We had the wrong council at the time. And I'm just going to give a quick boilerplate version of what it was. Phase 1, you would be recognized by the Historical Society and the Historical Society only as a house that has significance, either a celebrity, the architecture, whatever the case may be. Phase number 2 would be working with the city, in fact, so that they would give a little bit of love, if you will, for lack of a better term, as long as you kept the house within its architectural genre, whether it's craftsman, bungalow, whatever the case may be. And phase 3 would be, of course, what we're done with a couple of other cities have, which is the Mills Act, which is a 10-year commitment. Now, I worked with some real seriously heavy-duty executives on this, and I still have all the paperwork. It's up in my attic. I don't throw anything away. My mom's 6th grade spelling test is still up in my attic. So I'm very excited, and I'm definitely going to get it to you guys so you can do something with it.
Thank you, Rick. And I would love to see that document. I think there's a place for it. So.
It's 150 pages.
And Rick, reach out to the current council as this thing's coming up and just say, hey, you've done a lot of homework already.
You got to do better than I do.
Well, you know, I'll just say you've done a lot of homework on this already. So baby steps have already been taken.
I appreciate this. I've learned a lot about the city already. I love this dialogue. So let's continue this dialogue amongst each other as we kind of stay back, have a glass of wine, and some fantastic food that's back there. But I think that wraps up our agenda for today. Oh, yeah, I'm going to pass something, didn't I? We're behind it. Oh, you, okay. Out of sight, out of mind. Each year, we try and find one person that has just been an exceptional volunteer, someone who's really stepped out and done a great job. I have enjoyed this so much over the years because everyone that the President's Award has gone out to has just been an amazing person. This year is important because I recognize when we're looking to find people who are really valuable and have time, I need to find more people who are getting ready to retire. Because when you retire, it's unbelievable. The energy and the enthusiasm even goes beyond what it was prior. Mark, will you please come up and accept this year's President's Award? Fantastic, fantastic effort. Love everything you do.
Well,
thank you.
I'm very humbled. I've been involved since 2005, and I did retire a couple years ago, and Jamie's roped me into more projects than I had planned. But yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, it's a great organization. I love the people I work with, and I love you all, and we just want to keep doing more good things for the community. So thank you very much.
Hold that black. Hold on. There you go.
Okay, can I have someone move to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Second. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.